Okay, so last stream we were rambling on, well, I was rambling on about a few extra little mechanics, gameplay and narrative wise, and character development wise, and it's a bit long. It's pretty long, this is, guys. I'm going to zoom in a bit more. So what I'm going to do, it originally was on Draw AI, all this text was, but I felt like it would have made more sense in a Google Doc, because there was a lot of text, there wasn't any like flows or anything like that, so I just put it over in a Google Doc. So I'm going to put all this over in the general idea discussion, so that anyone who's interested can have a peek at what all this is about, because there's a few little new things. So if I get a link, will it like show anything? It shouldn't. I'm going to just check and hide my screen. Share. Get link. Only people added can open with this link. Okay, so we'll have it on. Change to anyone with the link. Anyone on the internet with this link can view. That seems like what we want. Someone, just as long as you're able to view. Okay. Let's just quickly write in here what this is about. Hello everyone. We spent, okay, so last stream I brought up a way to, how can we summarize what this is about? To give the hero their own motivation, wanting to pursue Carol's family. Lucky charm. Addition to the hero creator. And what else? Because it's a pretty chunky one, this. I think that's enough to describe it. There was a lot. Info. So I thought I'd link the doc and everything mentioned. Binary! Oh my goodness me. 1-0 My goodness, that is a big number. That's a double figure. Can you believe it, Binary? Thanks so much for that support. That's very awesome of you to support little old me. Me and Batty. Mr. Bat, thank you for that. We have some hype in chat, everybody. Let's get that hype for such an awesome sub. Nearly a year. Close to that. Thank you, Binary. How are you, Binary? How's things going on your end? How are things? Hi, Proto Man. Congrats on the 300 subs on YouTube. Oh, someone decided to be my number 300, did they? Was it you, Proto Man? Was it you? It was someone. Feel free to announce yourself. I'm gonna have a little peek. Oh! Hang on, is that... Yeah, pause that because we don't want to hear that in the background. We got 301. Thank you, everybody. Yes, okay, so I did actually reach 300 the other day, but someone must have unsubbed. So I couldn't celebrate because I had 300 for like an hour. And then someone must have unsubbed, so I was like, oh, damn it. But we got it now. We've got it, guys. Thank you so much for those of you that helped out. Now, that's a nice milestone. Pretty cool, right? Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. Being awesome. Day off work today due to head fog, or just chilling this afternoon and relaxing. Hope yourself and chat are doing well. I'm doing cool. Is chat doing cool, though? What I want to know. And that sounds nice. A day off is always needed sometimes. Doing anything nice during the chilling? Any games? Any movies? Any fun stuff like that? Hi Van, how are you doing? Happy times out to you again. I'm busy again, but I'm thinking about that stuff you and I chatted about. Yeah, sure, no worries, Van. You take your sweet time. I hope your Wednesday at work is treating you well. YouTube command. Oh, here it is, Binary. I'm a silly and write it in long version. So, I hit my 300 sub today on YouTube. I'm not going to complain at another few extra ones. The sort of stuff that I upload is Raindrop Chronicles related. I upload every stream on the YouTube. So, you know, it's a good way to have a peek, keep up to date. If you've missed streams, if you've missed some and want to see what we've been up to, that's the place to go. Because the Twitch VODs eventually disappear, so it's cool to have them on YouTube. I'm definitely going to forever do that because it's nice to have them there. And, you know, it's just a good idea, I think. Played some Fallout 76 and did a bit of work on a personal project. Ooh, sounds fun. Hype for personal projects. I'm a big supporter of those. So, hello everyone. Last stream we talked about giving the hero their own motivation for wanting to pursue Carol's family and Knocky Charm addition to custom hero character. There's a ton of info, so I thought I'd link the doc and everything that was mentioned. Feel free to have a peek if you're intrigued. Okay, so I've tried to organise this document that I've just posted. It's in the general ideas discussion. There we go. I've made it as organised as possible. I've bolded important text, and it's literally just a discussion of a mixture of mechanics, narrative additions, a potential plot point, and bits of character development with the hero, and Carol and the other barrels. So there's a few things that involve community ideas in there too, so that's marked as well. But I'm going to put that to the side for now. I didn't want to really I mean, it's very difficult to do on stream because there's just so much info there. So I feel like it's probably for the best to pop it in there for people to read in their own time. So feel free to have a peek. And Did you see that Final Fantasy 14 had a 96-hour campaign going on? You can play it for free for 96 hours. I think you qualify since you've not played for a while, but have been a Final Fantasy 14 player before. You might check it out. Oh, that's interesting. Not 96 hours is a pretty long amount of time as well. And I do need to play the latest expansion, so does it say how long you've had to have been off the game to have qualified for that? I'm trying to think when the last time I played was now. And Protoman said the Twitch VODs disappearing is scary to me, like what I miss. What if I miss something super cool? Appreciate you uploading your stuff on YouTube. Thank you, Proto. Yeah, I do it for numerous reasons. One, because I can get the playlist up so you guys can actually see them all, because I feel like I don't talk about these enough, and I really should, because surprisingly some people don't know I upload them all. But look at all that, look at all this craziness. Yeah, so I do it because mainly to see the journey, for my own personal fulfillment of seeing that journey. Also because I think it's a good idea to keep everything recorded just in case something ever happens where someone copies my entire game, and I need that evidence that I did it first. Like we said, unlikely scenario, you never know. So that's another reason. Also, because, you know, surprisingly people have found me off YouTube. It doesn't happen often because, like, YouTube is ridiculously oversaturated in terms of exposure. So, but at the same time, I have had people find me from there and become part of the community. So it's another cool thing. And yeah. And because, you know, it's sad to miss the streams and for not know what's been happening. I mean, it's a lot to watch to get caught up, but, you know, I don't expect you all to watch the whole things. But, you know, to sort of get an idea of what we've been doing each week and have a peep. Hi, Sorter, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. And hi-fi, Isaac, how are you doing? Science and tech, what's the subject? Well, I tend to like we got a website, folks. It's in the title. It's in the banners at the side. So really the website is the information hub to be going to. We just make an RPG here. It's as simple as that, and all the info's on the website. And it isn't really science and tech, but it is a game dev, so it's a sort of branch off that. I do think game dev needs its own category, if you ask me, on Twitch. Always thought so. I think Twitch needs a game dev category and a writing category. Who's with me? I think it'd be very cool. Science and tech is a bit too broad, but still. Met some cool people from that category, so I ain't gonna complain. Physics, me and physics, my goodness. See, I'm not techie at all, so that's the funny thing. I'm actually very much the opposite. I'm creative, but Twitch decided to completely get rid of that category. Hi Kia, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. How are things? How are things on your end? Alright, so I'm gonna be talking about something else today. Well, actually doing something else on stream, but that's there. And polls, just a reminder again, guys, title for episode 1 of our game, we're having votes, so feel free to vote as well. If you haven't yet, you do need to join the Discord to vote, because you got a dip, our Discord's the best. So, yeah, if you'd like to get involved in polls and voting and chats, feel free to vote. We got a draw at the moment. Oh my goodness, we haven't got a draw anymore. Just as I said that, it changed. So yeah, feel free to vote, guys. It's going to be open for another few days, so things could very much change. But it's fun to look and see how the votes are getting on and what everyone likes the most. Sorry, decided to break the tie. Hi Glacier, how you doing? So good to see you. Oh my goodness, I've just remembered. We've got to give you your avatar, Glacier. Because we got double Rex walking across the screen, haven't we? How you doing, Glacier? And yeah, totally break the tie. I mean, we have to pick one. So ideally we don't want a tie when we close this poll, that's for sure. But if you want to make it a tie because you like the other one, don't be afraid to vote and make it a tie again. Because if it ever is a tie, I'll just have the deciding say. I'll have the final say, folks, if that does happen. So it's no worries. 2 Rex. Yeah, look, we got 2 reptiles, Rex characters, because that's Rex's character. So I think we do it like this. Avatar. I always forget this command. I always do it wrong and mess it up. But I think I'm going to get it right this time. And then we can have Glacian's character walking across the screen. Yes, I think we've done it. You're there. Look at that beautiful ice-haired boy. And work has been crazy and I finally got a day off during your stream. Yeah, well, it's always lovely to see you, Glacian. It's always lovely to have you stop by. I hope work's been kind to you. How is life? Hi people, hi Rose, hi Midsager, how you doing? It's good to see you. How are things? I'm spamming chat with the poll right now because there's a few of you here. I don't know who's voted and who hasn't, so there we go. I'm gonna tend to just put that command in chat if there's a few of you here, because then we can get some more votes in. Welcome, Martin. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining our awesome Discord. My mouse is being laggy. Okay, so are we ready to actually begin? Okay, so the last several streams, well, last couple of weeks, maybe even more than that now, we've been doing like story outlining and story ideas and all that fun stuff. And I think it's about time that we get super organised, guys, because it's all been a bit of a chaotic mess so far. So what I'm going to do, this was like me attempting to write a main quest outline, but it's not a very good one, so we're going to do a better one now. I'm actually going to make 2 documents. So we're going to get super organised today. I'm planning on doing a proper main quest outline really thoroughly, listing every main quest. Well, obviously the ones we've done, the ones that we haven't decided yet will be a bit more vague, but I am going to mark like plot points, events, scenes and choices made, and just making sure every key thing is noted on here so that, you know, we haven't forgotten anything important, because so far we've only got 2 main quests, but there surprisingly is quite a bit that's happened, quite a bit of choices that have been made, and I think it'll be good to just get all that down. And I'm gonna, it'll be fun to see it all there. We might bring up some just topics of discussion while doing this. So be prepared for some awesome chats. Okay, so new document, brand new document. I'm going to call this, I don't know what to call it. What's our stream title? What do I call it? Story. Actually. So I'm going to create 2 sheets, one for story and one for characters, because that's really what these streams are going to be about. It's all about developing the story, developing the characters, as you can see in the title. But we are focusing more on story first, and characters are kind of gonna come from the story. I think that is going to be my approach for doing this. Some like to do characters first, and there's no wrong or right, I don't think. If you like to do characters before story, that's okay too. I mean, we've already got quite a few characters anyway, but there's definitely a lot of blank NPC faces that we still have to flesh out, and the time will come when we'll do them. But I'm kind of thinking if we think of the story and things first, we'll get an idea of characters from that. So I'm going to change the background to grey because I'm not a fan of the bright white, as you know. So there we go. Got them here. Hopefully I don't get mixed up. So I'm going to have to put some sort of headline. And I'm going to be using Draw.io for this, not Google Docs, because we're going to be doing a lot of boxes and flows and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to be super tidy about it today, but we'll just work on getting the information in. Actually, I don't know. We won't put any headlines, subtitles or anything yet. Just have it like that. So, I'm going to do this a bit differently. I don't like how I organised it before, so I'm going to delete those for now. Good afternoon, hi Radio, how are you doing? Oh, and Radio and anyone else. We got a poll. Got a super good poll, so if you haven't seen that poll yet, that goes for anyone who's lurking, anyone who's just popping in. Feel free to have a peek, because it's a good one. It's an important one. Title of episode 1, the final shortlisted poll. Okay, so here's to me doing a better attempt at doing the main quest story outline. So obviously the story itself, we got an overarching main quest going on in episode 1. So I'm going to actually label this as episode 1. Because everything that we've been doing in this story suggested on business it's been mostly episode 1 related, most of the time. So yes, we got that overarching main story quest, but we'll obviously have some side quests too, but we're going to focus on the main quest first. And I'm thinking that eventually some more side quest ideas will come to us. We've already had a couple of ideas. One of them was the Stumpy quest, and there's a couple of more I've been mulling over, but we'll think about them where we've kind of got the main quest outline sorted. And we don't have to be super detailed with this and really plan every tiny thing just yet, but as long as we can get a sort of rough plan, I think that will be very helpful. All right. So I've said that our main quest will either have 4 or 5 quests in it. That's kind of the limit. I saw 5 quests as the limit because the quests are pretty chunky as well. They're not like small quests that are over in 10 minutes. They are probably like quite long. I can't think of the time of how long each quest is. I suppose it depends on how fast the player is and that. It'll be timed eventually though, I'm sure, as we do test plays and things. Okay, so outline and plot points. I'm thinking of giving every main quest their own colour. I don't know, because if we have just a mass of blue text, it could get a little bit much, a bit too blue in text, even though blue is a good colour. There will probably be speedruns. I know, that would be so cool if someone did do that. I'd be so intrigued by how that would go. Okay, so main quest 1. By the way, we've basically done main quest 1 and 2 already. We've still got to tidy up the very ending of main quest 2, so we are going to have some dialogue streams next week, just to like get some things set in stone there, because as you know, some of you know that the playable build, the very first one, will be coming out in the winter. There might be a slight delay though, because I am moving house this winter, so all that real life stuff might slow down the me being able to release the playable build on time. But as an estimate, that'll be the first playable build out in the winter, and it's gonna have main quest 1 and 2 in it, nothing else. Everything else is gonna be very bare bones. It's not gonna be any side quests or any NPC development or anything like this, or anything like that makes the game super full at this stage. It's just going to really be main quest 1 and 2. So it's very important that, you know, we get that dialogue done so I can get the scenes polished as well, because that's kind of what I've been working on a bit off stream. So main quest 1 and 2 are going to be very full when we do these outlines today. Main quest 3, 4 and 5 will be a little bit more vague, because we still don't really know what's going to happen properly in main quest 3 and 5. We have like a bit of an outline, because we are trying to follow an outline a bit more now, but it's not very thought out. There's still a lot of gaps, so it'll be fun to eventually decide how that's all going to go when the time comes. So there's 5 scenes actually in each main quest 1 and 2. So I'm going to just list those. I'm also going to put a summary for each one. So the summary for main quest 1 is you meet a sentient barrel called Carol. I'll unbold that bit. Yes, that is the first thing that happens. That's the hook. Meeting Carol the Barrel is the hook of the story. Because I've been like researching into plot points and all that sort of thing. I'm actually going to put that in brackets. And I do want to go have a sort of structure, like treat it like a proper story. Main quest 5 is like the climax and resolution, because although it's episodic, although Raindrop Chronicles is episodic, each episode still will have its own climax and resolution, because the storylines within the episodes will be different. We've got that overarching story where we try and find Carol's family that will happen throughout, but there'll be all these little mini stories within the episode, such as the reptile war thing that's going on. That's like episode 1's story. So main quest 5 will be the climax and resolution of that, really. which we sort of talked about that last stream. The hook, we need to hook people in, because otherwise I'll turn the game off. That's basically the simplest way to summarise this. Main quest 1 and the whole introduction has to intrigue players enough to think, oh, this game's interesting, I'm going to continue playing it, so that, you know, they don't get bored and turn it off, because there's like a bazillion games in the world, right? You know, you have to make sure yours grabs them, and that goes for any form of media, you know, stories, movies, books, shows, all that. They have to make sure to do that too, and I'm determined to make sure Raindrop Chronicles hooks people, and I'll be rewriting it until it does, if it fails in that regard. But I feel like the way I'm seeing it right now, I've had like a proper analyse of our opening scene, and I think it's pretty clear that the hook is Carol herself, because she's such a strange, unique and interesting character. And I was watching a YouTube video last night, and then I read some articles about the start of a story and the structure of that hook, and one of the ideas for a hook was to introduce an intriguing lead character. And I thought, Carol's the intriguing lead character, right? There's a few other things that can hook someone in, and I'm curious what you guys think, chat. Like, what to you is a hook? What would hook you in something? But yes, I think we've hit on the Carol thing, but this is something else I need to talk about. I really want to work on making Carol as intriguing as possible. So we are expanding on her dialogue section at the start. That was decided a while ago too. We're in the middle of lengthening the dialogue sequence and conversation between the hero and Carol in the third scene, just as we leave Lakefall and go into the forest. So we can actually start to care about Carol and care about what happens to her, and have like curiosity about her as well, and things like that. So I'm going to attempt to really bring in those things, and we'll talk about Carol and her character and stuff, maybe a bit more tomorrow as well. We'll see. We might bring some of the discussion in this stream as well. Hey Mary and Rod, how you guys doing? Carol realising she's the hook, yes. Oh, you've got the Carol emoji, I see. That's brilliant. I'm glad you've got it, Gladys. Yeah. Speedruns will be awesome. Would you guys do speedruns, or do you see yourselves as more thorough gamers who take your time? What sort of category do you guys fall into, chat? I'm definitely the sort of gamer that takes my sweet time. I'm very fascinated by speedrunning though, but I could never do it myself because I'm so slow. Just, it's not in my nature. I like to take my time. I'm the gamer who takes time, yes. A lot of RPG fans are. Especially people who are into story. But the speedrunning can be done in the second or third playthrough, I suppose, when you already know the story. But we have multiple branches in Raindrop Chronicles. In Raindrop Chronicles, so the story will always be have a surprise for you, because there'll be different branches that you wouldn't have seen the first time you played through. Spider-Man PS4 and Halo 4 both games had emotional stories, and I was playing both to continue the story and experience the fun gameplay, yes. And Proto Man has said one word in there that's kind of stood out to me: emotional. I think you need to sort of bring in that. The audience has to feel something to care and to want to carry on. It doesn't matter what that emotion is. It doesn't necessarily have to be sad, or like, you know, it can be any sort of emotion that it makes you feel anything enough to carry on. That's how I kind of feel. So we got to care about Carol. I basically read a sentence that says with the hook, with the start of the story, you can do that by introducing an intriguing lead character. make people care about them and want to know what's going to happen to them, and consider their desire and their fears and all those sort of things. So I'm getting my brain on to really to hit it with Carol to get her perfect. Right, so basically some other hooks ideas I read were make people interested, make them excited, make them wonder, keep boring details minimal unless humorous or important, open with a threat, start the conflict relatively soon, add an unusual situation. They were other hook types. And start the conflict and opening with a threat's a very interesting one as well, which we kind of have with the whole things coming to life in the forest business. That is a sort of threat, I guess. We just need to hit on that more and make it intriguing, because the hook can work in regards to plot. You can make your plot and the external world interesting, but I think it has to go a bit deeper than just that. You have to care about the people living in that world as well for you to want to really be invested. And going for food but stopping in to make sure you were all right. Well, I'm doing good, Rob. Thank you so much for checking up on me. And what sort of food are you having? And depends on the game, really. Skill-based games, I don't mind playing fast, but story-driven, I'll take my time. Yeah, that makes sense. I'd be the same. Thank you, Rod. And RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2, sucked me in big time. The main character changes his ways from bad to not so bad. Ooh, a bad to good arc, a redemption arc, I see. I haven't actually played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet. Just not got around to it, but I've wanted to. And the fact that Carol is a sentient barrel is already a good hook, I think. Yes. So I think that's our clear hook. We've got a really strange, unusual character here. You don't see a living barrel every day, do you? And this is what I started to think a bit deeper when I realised that Carol is actually our hook. We should really think of Carol really deep, because there'll be all these questions going through players' minds. They'll be thinking things like, how does this barrel live? What does she eat? How does she survive? All these things, because Carol has a desire and a want. Carol's desire and want is to find her family. So Carol is really after that sense of belonging. She wants to belong. She feels like her family are what she needs to feel that she's got a place in the world, because she feels you're going to feel a bit weird as a barrel, aren't you, when there's humans around you, maybe even a little bit unsafe. You're not going to trust them because you're a barrel, you're a threat, you're something that's come to life that shouldn't be alive. So yes, she calls humans flesh bag, but for very good reason, we got to remember that these sentient objects aren't meant to be alive. Some humans might freak out at such a concept. If they see a living object, someone really horrible might try and hurt that object. Maybe Carol's had a nasty experience with a human somewhere along the road, which is the reason for why she's such a hostile person now, and a little bit untrustworthy. I mean, in a way, she's using the hero. Some might ask, well, why? If she doesn't trust humans, why would she go with the hero as a human, someone she doesn't really trust? Well, because she's using the hero. She needs somebody to protect her because she is a barrel. She probably feels a little bit safe in the shadow of the hero, him being a fighter, or her or them being a fighter. She doesn't have arms or legs, Maybe that puts her in a vulnerable position. That's something to consider too. How does she live? How does she just overall survive? So yeah, she's just using the hero. I guess she thinks I'll be with them and I'll find my family fine. A lot easier than if I was on my own. I'll find my family easier if I'm with this person, because they're pretty able, they're capable. So That's kind of what's probably going through Carol's mind. And she has to sort of make a compromise with the hero, because why would the hero want to be with her? She's a pain in the ass. Well, she offers to be the hero's inventory, so that's a good thing for the hero, because he thinks, yeah, better, I've got somewhere to put my stuff, I guess. So, found your streams by looking for RPG Game Dev streams, but part of what made me stay was talking. Bells, that's brilliant. Well, that's wonderful to know, because I think it's a pretty unique concept, and I'm pretty in love with Carol as a character, and I'm glad other people like that too. I've always wanted to make sure that our characters can have that they're the key. They're the main characters, these guys are. So I'm going to do everything I can to make them predominant in the story, even though they're not currently in our present day timeline. These ones here, obviously Carol is. English muffin and turkey sausage, that sounds yummy. I want food now. I've got some chocolate, Rod, so I'm kind of nomming on that bit. And if you do see them every day, then you get yourself checked into rehab. Yeah, so I want us to consider literally how we would feel if we saw a living barrel in real life, because we got to think from the Lakefall humans perspective as well. Well, I've got so many tabs up here. There we go. Like, the humans of Lakefall might have not all seen Carol, because Carol's pretty careful. She has to be. The barrels don't willingly reveal themselves to just anybody. They'd only reveal themselves if they're desperate or they have no choice or feel they have to. The reason Carol shows her face in the opening scene to the hero is because she's so fed up that he's been inside her that she just thinks she's disgusted, so she just thinks, get out of me. She's coped with him being inside her for long enough at that point, so she's like lost all patience. So I think that's probably why she revealed herself to him. But the other humans of Lakefall maybe don't know that she's around. She'll be quite sneaky when she'll talk to the hero. He's like probably one of the only ones that know she's alive. But you never know, there could be someone that's seen her. We have to think what people would feel if they did see a barrel. They'd kind of feel like they was dreaming, wouldn't they? So that's an interesting point. If you see them, you probably think, what's wrong with me? But no, it isn't a dream. These barrels are very real, I'm afraid, because the forest is coming to life around these people living in Lakefall, and that's kind of going to be a bit freaky for them. And they're going to be in denial, they're going to be paranoid, they're probably going to blame it on the reptiles and say, oh, it's the reptiles, but really no, it's just objects coming to life. Yeah, how does she roll with the punches? And if I saw a living barrel, I would scream in its face and run away as fast as I could, but that's just me. Oh, it would freak you out then, see, all this is really cool to know, because us as the hero's a choice-based hero. You shape that hero with every dialogue option you have. So we're going to want a variety of different dialogue options during the conversation with Carol when we talk to her. Some heroes might be very cheeky to Carol, almost challenge her in an arrogant, cocky way, because Carol's personality's like that, so they probably want to give it back as good as they can. But other heroes might be more polite to Carol, others might be scared and run away, like we said. So it's thinking of all the different reactions. If you was a player, well, you know, as a player, how would you guys talk to Carol? Would you be cheeky with Carol, or would you be scared or polite, or what would your sort of attitude be? I'm curious. And thank you, N Squared, for the follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. That could be fun to bring into NPC dialogue about being surprised about a talking barrel. Yes. So the NPC dialogue is going to be so important, because I feel it's a big such a big thing that's going to flesh out the world, bringing sort of all the world building without it being thrown at us. It'll sort of bring the world in and the setting and what's happening in a natural way. Having it be said in NPC dialogue is really what we want to go for here. We know that there's 2 events going on in episode 1. 1, things are coming to life in the forest. 2, there's concerns about a war brewing between humans and reptiles. So it's those 2 things that are happening. Those are the story elements of episode 1. So some NPCs will talk about different things. Some will talk about the things coming to life. Others will talk about the reptiles. I figured that the first time we're in Lakefall, the topic of discussion will be mainly about things coming to life, not the reptiles. We'll have the reptile discussions when we return to Lakefall the second time, and there's a reason for that. There's a very, very, there's a clear reason that I'm going to approach it that way, which I'll talk about in a bit. Hi N Squared, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, it's good to meet you. Cute penguin emote, by the way. I'd be curious. Yeah, everyone will. So I think it's pretty clear that the hook of our story is Carrot the Barrel. We want to really make her a fantastic character as much as possible. She's more than just a barrel. She's going to hook people in with the fact that she's a barrel at the start. But then people are going to want to carry on because her character's so intriguing. That's kind of how I'm seeing it right now. But yes, there's something else I wanted to show you guys before we carry on with this outline. I've got to get it up because I saw it yesterday. And I've seen this loads of times before. But it was interesting to see again. And it's something I think is important for any story writer. Who recognises this? I'm going to just hide the story suggest-a-thon logo because we can't see things properly. Basically, this is a hierarchy of needs. And it's something I think we need to consider in regards to our characters. So I'm considering it right now in regards to Carol, but also the human NPCs of Lightfall as well. Because Carol, like we said, her desire is to find her family. That's Carol's key desire. So really, she's on the love and belonging section of this hierarchy. She probably hasn't quite reached esteem and self-actualization at this point. She's not progressed as a character to be on that level yet, but she's full on just I want my family, which means we do have to sort of think about the other 2, which is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, survival. Because we haven't that is one thing we haven't discussed about the barrels. How the hell do they survive? They're not a human. They're not a humanoid. They're very, even though they've got the face of a human, they're clearly not. What is their? How do they eat? How do they sort of sleep? How do they, do they reproduce? Maybe not. Carol has an adopted cookie jar son, so maybe they can't have their own. I mean, they haven't lived very long. Things have only been brought to life in the last 12 months, so all this, they're still learning probably. They're still getting used to life. And yeah, things like safety and general security, like things like property and your security and safety is kind of something we've sort of hit on with Carol, because she's a barrel. Someone could easily break her, and especially when horrible humans who were paranoid and fearful of living barrels, if anyone ever saw her, they'd probably chase her and break her. Very horrible thought. No one couldn't ever do that to our Carol. Carol the Barrel, how dare they? But that is really the reason she wants to be with the hero deep down, because she feels safe. She doesn't trust him like she trusts her family, because she doesn't feel like accepted enough by humans to have love and belonging with anyone like that. But she definitely would feel okay, like she won't fear for her life around the hero. She's kind of just like sort of thinking, this is better than nothing. I'll go with him. And as someone who just started writing their own comic, this triangle is really helpful. Oh, really? Well, that's great, because I wanted to make sure that, we all knew about this, because I think it's so helpful for anybody that's writing stories and a character, because it just helps us go that much deeper. And it made me realise things when I saw this yesterday. I came across it yesterday, which I've seen this plenty of times. I've seen it before, but I forgot about it. So I was very glad it came back and jogged my memory, because it just made me think, yeah, these are things that we got to think about. If we're building a sort of barrel, a group of people that are so different, these guys, we have to at least consider these things. And it might not even be complicated. We could be like, they're just like normal humans. They just eat like normal humans. But, sometimes it's interesting to think of very different concepts and ways of life too, because that sort of thing could be intriguing to people, especially if it makes life a challenge for Carol and brings in that emotional side, that vulnerability where we maybe feel a bit bad for Carol that she has to live like this, because we got to care about her. She's very sassy, Carol is, and she could easily annoy people, so we've got to kind of get that balance between attitude, sass and vulnerability. We don't want to make her too vulnerable, because it would be too over dramatic, and if she ever feels vulnerable, Carol will always hide it with a bit of sass. That's kind of what she is. And how could they eat like normal humans? Why do they even need to eat? Yeah, exactly. That's what we got to think, because they don't have a digestive system. They've not got organs. They're not flesh and blood like humans or reptiles or the fairies or elves or any other humanoid race in this game. They're literally just wood that are hollow inside. They've got nothing there. So literally, things might be easy. If we want to think of it that way, things might be really easy for them. They don't have to worry about food. They don't have to worry about water. They don't have to worry about sleep. Would they even need sleep? They don't have this complex system inside them like we do. So that is something to consider. It makes Carol very, very interesting, and the others, if that is the sort of concept we go with, that they don't have to bother with that, because people say, according to this pyramid, before you can do the things higher up, you have to have sorted out the ones on the bottom first. So Carol realistically can't focus on finding her family if she hasn't met the needs below the love and belonging on the pyramid, right? That's why she hasn't reached esteem and self-actualization yet, because she's so focused on the love and belonging side of things right now. But that's character arcs for you. Maybe the later episodes she will. So if that's the case, she don't have to care about what she has, because it don't matter. If she was to eat, because she's got a mouth, if she was to eat, it would probably just go inside the barrel and be all mushed, right? That's kind of how I'm seeing it. Is there a big hole in her mouth where the barrel is? Is it hollow? All these strange thoughts are coming through my head now, all these questions. But I think it's things we got to think about, because these are things the hero is going to wonder themselves when they meet Carol the player. Every player that plays this game is going to think stuff when they meet this barrel. All sorts of questions are going to go through their mind. So we need to make sure they're answered. And it'll make us feel closer and more connected to Carol, and there could be some interesting plot points and sort of story elements and dialogues that could come from things like this too. And we don't want Carol to be too sassy, or as Carol the Barrel will turn into Sonic the Barrel. She's a sort of a sundayer. That's kind of her personality trope. And I think with Carol, she's a very flawed human being. She's not a human being. She's a very flawed person. I suppose she's a person. She's a flawed person. She's a flawed person, and she's not Mrs. Nice. She could get on somebody's nerves for a start, but I think that's part of her charm. The challenge with Carol's character is to get that balance right, where we can see she's as hostile as, and she's cheeky and sometimes even downright nasty, but we still love her for it, sort of thing. We find her entertaining. That's really what it's going to be. She's good. Without Carol, things would be dull. Life would be dull. She keeps things super entertaining with her little sass. And, you know, who doesn't love it? A character that just says how they feel. That's blunt. They kind of make things interesting because they rock up relationships and just cause conflict. So we love her for that fact. But she's much deeper than that. She has vulnerability there, but she just won't show it. Or she does show it, but if she ever does, she'll quickly cover it up with sass or pretend that it's not happening. She's got an ego. If she is insecure about something, she'll hide it and actually pretend she's not insecure about it. So if the hero said to Carol, "Oh, isn't it hard for you to like do things? Like, you know, you don't have arms or anything," she might be like, "What do you mean?" And she'll like really just act as if he's an idiot. Like, why would I struggle? She's very, very sure of herself. She has a bravado, but deep down that might not be the case at all. Barrels take a really long time to digest their food, so throughout history people have used them for storage. Oh yeah, storage for sure. Like Carol's life so far, I mean, she hasn't lived very long, but her life has probably been going from cart to cart, you know, having stuff in her. I mean, she's had the hero inside her, hiding away, a stowaway. So, and, you know, that's a question. The hero being a stowaway is a plot point as well, and if you read that this document I've put in the ideas discussion on the Discord, it could so happen that the hero's running from somebody. That could be a likely reason for why they hid in the barrel. One reason anyway. Hi Matt, how you doing? This looks interesting. Yes, everybody should know about this. It's really, really made me see things so much better in terms of characters and character arcs and development, and it's pushed me to be more ambitious about where we take our characters' development. Even some of the more minor NPCs, I think we still have to consider this to some degree. We don't have to like get super like thorough about it like we would for someone like Carol, but just at least consider it a bit. Like, so thinking of the Lakefall NPCs, they're scared, they're paranoid, they're surviving, right? Because they feel a bit unsafe in their homes with things coming to life and this threat with the reptiles that's going to come in a bit later. So they probably got the breathing, the food, the water and the sleep side of things. So they've got the very most basic of needs. The humans of Lakefall, they're pretty well sorted, their location, you know, but the safety probably not. I feel a bit, they feel on edge, but they've probably got they've got the love and belonging, because the humans feel they've made a community together because they feel they're the same. Their culture, their beliefs are the same, so they've made that community, so they've hit on the love and belonging thing. And They haven't hit the esteem though, because their respect for others is probably lacks. Some of them anyway. Some humans might be a bit more higher on the pyramid. We're not going to have humans that are all going to hate reptiles. There'll be some younger ones mainly that weren't around in the war that will be a lot more forward thinking, and we're going to have a mix of humans in Lightfall. They're not going to all have the same mind, because that's boring. People are all different, even if they are of the same community. You still get different thoughts and beliefs still. I've been wondering what the hero's beginning story is. I should post some stuff in the Discord that predicts behaviour. Some I've been meaning to for a while. Yeah, sure. And yeah, man, because that's what that document was. It's literally just me rambling of thoughts, ideas, and I feel like something like this gives the hero a little bit more development. Oh my goodness, Mid-Sega, thank you so much for that 1,500 biddies. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. Can we have some hype in chat for that? Those biddies, please. That's very kind. I hope you enjoy. I think you get unlock a Final Fantasy bit badge now. Mid-Sega, with that amount, you'll have a good one. That's for sure. So I think sometimes Twitch doesn't show those up, so you have to go in your settings to show it off. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Epic. How you doing, Vagabond? Oh my god, Vagabond. I was looking at the VOD in my stream the other day, and I saw that you said that when you says Rose is in the game, I thought it was just a coincidence, and then I read that it actually is. It actually is sort of me, and I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Good. Yay. How are you doing now, Vagabond? I hope things are going well on your end. How's the game, Dev? All right. Thank you for the hype. Oh, thank you for me for the hype. I was the one that did it, I see. After you raided, I needed a name, so I dropped a reference. Well, I approve. That's an awesome reference, Rose. And working on more network multiplayer. Awesome. Sounds fun. But yes, this document basically talks about giving the hero their own motivation for pursuing the containers. So he's not just tagging along and being some puppet with no mind of his own, or no like ambition, or at least a goal of his own. He's actually got a purpose, and this sort of motivation could potentially really cause some problems in his relationship with Carol, which is always fun. So which is all here. I've kind of tried to organise it quite cool. I liked Met's idea about, which is here, so that was mentioned in the last stream, so that's there as well. A potential plot point in the future that I think could very much work as a reason for how we eventually find the containers, but of course it's still very early days at the moment. I talked about the flashback as well. What happens after Carol's flashback and the wagon business. I really liked the idea of the reptile that you had, but then I realised something that probably would make it not work, and it's because of the whole painting that Rose does. The hero can't know too much about the reptile for reasons, because of the painting Rose does, because she paints with all colours or just red, her blood, depending on if you killed the fruits or not. So the hero realistically can't recognise the reptile or know the reptile, because it would make him a complete jerk for not saying anything. So that my version of what I've got is a little bit more vague and mysterious, and it also gives the sort of impression that the hero's being chased by something or pursued, which is a question mark at this point. And it would sort of connect with the fact that he hid in Carol in the first place because he was being pursued, so he quickly had to jump inside at her, hide and escape. So I think that could be, it's still very, very brief, very vague, the backstory idea we got, but it's something to go off, and it's mysterious enough to sort of intrigue people, I think. So if anyone does want to read this character development of the hero stuff in the Discord, it's in the ideas general discussion. I did a big Google Doc. There's a lot in there. There's 4 pages worth of text, and it's a lot to just talk about on stream, especially because some of you are only listening now and again. So if you want to like read it all properly, then there it is, and it's there. And we've also got a poll, so I'm gonna give you the link in the stream chat again, folks, for that poll. I see we've had a lot of votes. Holy crap, in the last how long? Since last hour we've had like quite a few more votes. I see, that's pretty interesting. Thanks, folks. I mean, we got a few votes for one of them there, which is really, really cool, but still early days. This isn't closing until Monday. Okay, so just reminding you all that there is a poll in case you haven't voted yet. We got a variety of title ideas there. They're all very different. We've got some short, catchy ones, and we've got some more longer, poetic ones. So it's whatever is personal preference here. The best wins. The best one wins, everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing. Okay. Midsager, thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Thanks for being awesome, Midsager, and being supportive of the stream. Appreciate the bitties. Always was. The hook was Carol the Barrel. I love it, Binary. Oh my goodness. Let's give some love to that meme. You know what I would love? What would be absolutely awesome? Memes of Raindrop Chronicles, but like literally take over the world. We got one. Thanks to Binary Ferret. I'm gonna give it all the reactions. It will. Memes. Carol the Barrel could potentially just create a bazillion memes. I'm sure of it. She's the MVP. But I rave about Carol such a lot. Like, I think it's pretty obvious how obsessed I am with Carol. But I'm gonna just tell you now, I adore the others as well, and I don't want to make these too like her. I don't want them to just be Carol's minions. They're standout characters themselves. I think I'm really proud of the time we put into designing those characters, and making them unique and really stand out. So I think they're all so different and so cool, which is another reason why I really wanted to bring in the idea of having them more key in the plot early on as well, and making the hero have a connection with them, because I feel like they've been very much brushed under the carpet. Is that the right saying? I don't know if it is. When, you know, being ignored, they've been a bit left behind. They've only featured in one flashback so far, or one scene so far, which is it was a pretty long scene, and they had a really cool conversation, so they've still had attention, but not enough. They're meant to be the main characters, so they need to be very key in the story, even if it's just passively at this point in time, because they're not in the present day timeline, of course. So where were we? Yeah, we were talking about the hook and Carol being the hook, because what we're doing, the goal right now is to get the main quest outline and plot points really clearly laid out. It doesn't have to be super detailed, because there's still a lot of blanks at this point in time to fill, especially the last 3 main quests. There's a lot of blanks there. But I think it's important to get really organised and know exactly what scenes, events, choices and happenings we have going on here, just so nobody forgets, and that we're all very aware of everything that's been decided. Because I forgot about the reptile painting just a little bit last stream, and then I had to I remembered again, and then I thought, oh damn, yeah, that means that the hero can't really have met the reptile before, because yeah, it just kind of clashes a bit with the fact that. So there's things like that. Even me as the creator sometimes forgets the elements, so it's my job now to get super organised and make sure I don't. Because this one thing about this project is that it's going to need some very ridiculous and organisation in regards to story and quests and characters and choices and all the different branches. In fact, I'd say that side of things is going to be an even more bigger deal than actually doing it, because otherwise it would end up a mess. So yes, pyramid of needs. Anybody got any thoughts of that? A few of you shared in chat what you feel about Carol. I thought I definitely wanted to bring up this so we could consider the bottom two things on the pyramid in regards to Carol, considering we already have we know that she's very focused on the finding the love and belonging side of things. One thing we have is a character section here, and one thing I do want to do is put Carol first to this. And I'm like I said, I'm going to focus more on story first. But considering Carol is the hook, she is the story, right? So just Carol for now. I wanna just note a couple of things down about her, and then we'll carry on with this outline and proceed. I want to put Carol's avatar in, just so everybody knows who Carol is, because who knows, some people in this stream might not know Carol. Is there anyone here that doesn't know who Carol is? Who's curious what she looks like? Also, I just realised when Mid-Sega gave those bitters, 25 emotes were shared in chat. I've only just saw that. My goodness. So if whoever got those emotes, congratulations. Share them, folks, if you got any. So I'd love to see. It will. Yay. Okay. Thanks. Oh, you got one, Van? Oh my god, I wanted that emote. I wanted that one. It's a good crying one. I did look at the emotes, and I think that was my favourite one, actually, out of all of them. Right, so where's Carol? I did something pretty silly. I was messing with my Windows preferences, and I accidentally hid the image previews because I wanted to kind of make the computer performance better. So I hid my image previews, and now I can't even see the image previews. So it's going to take me forever to find Carol's avatar. I'm very serious. I need to get them back. So bear with me a sec, folks, but I'll get there eventually. It's probably under Law Bible Images, because I do have a... Here we go. Here's Carol. In fact, we don't. If we're going to have those avatars up, we don't even need. We don't even need. Let me just copy something. So we don't even need a heading. That's what I was saying, because it's on the avatar. So this is Carol if someone's never isn't sure who she is. Now you've seen her, yeah, and now you'll be hooked, because she's the hook. Let's give her a colour. There are a few cute ones in the bunch. Yay, Radu got one as well. That's awesome. I do like the emote rewards that Twitch give. So, let's just put that in. Right, so I don't know if I want the blue box now. I'm being indecisive. That'll do. That's better blue. Okay. Carol. I just want to get some information, and eventually what I'm intending to do, obviously there's nothing on here right now, but eventually I want one sheet for story and one sheet for characters, right? So this will be full of characters and full of information about them and their arcs and desires and all that kind of thing, or it'll be full of that, but only episode 1 characters. So anybody who is in Lakefall or anyone who's in the Reptile Cave will eventually get a big massive sheet of every character we encounter in the game, and it'll, you know, that'll be fun. I'm excited, but we're starting with Carol because she's the main one, the hook, and I just want to make sure that we're all like aware of Carol and who she is as a person first. Because you never know, some cool ideas could spring to mind regarding Carol. As we do this now, things that we didn't realise before. Now, some of this information is already in the Lore Bible, by the way. But I'm going to just expand on it a little bit more. So let's bold these. Okay. So when I was reading about the hook and you know, you need to care about this character and all that. It's like, if you don't care about the characters, it's not, people will switch off. They won't be intrigued or attached enough to carry on with the story. So, when I was watching a ton of YouTube videos and reading a ton of things about how to get people to care about your characters, and these were the things that matter and actually work to really develop a character very well. So we kind of all, like I says, some of this stuff is already written in the Lore Bible. We already know the answer to a lot of these, but we just need to sort of flesh it out more, because the Lore Bible profile doesn't really do the job properly of making it make sense. It's just a little bit too vague. So now let me just put in brackets. So in case anyone doesn't know what misbelief is, it's the lie that the character believes. Because that's what makes a character arc. Characters, they aren't these perfect beings that get everything right and know everything right when we first meet them. They have to go on their own character journey, and they have beliefs about the world, they have opinions and ways of seeing things that are actually wrong. We all do. Every human in the world has a lie, like beliefs that are actually wrong. We all do. Even if we don't want to admit it, we all actually do. But especially characters in fiction, because that's what's gonna keep us interested and make us root for the character. So that is a cool one. So is there anything else? I'll fill that bit in a sec. So the want and desire of Carol. We're going to carry on with the outline once we've filled this in, by the way. But because we're going to be working on Carol dialogue next week and really expanding on that scene where she joins us, I want to really make sure every line of dialogue it sort of relates to these 4 things. Well, mainly the first 3. The truth part is for more endgame stuff, or that's her journey of what she's going to realise by the end. So not so much that it's the start, because she's not going to know all that yet. But the first three for sure, this it's got a hit on these things. So the law Bible profile says that, and that is basically what it is. That's what it comes down to. She's trying to find a family. That's her want and desire. That's why. Can we get Carol? I want to actually see Carol's avatar alongside this. So on the stream, because we couldn't see it before. So let's have it so we can actually see. we want to show off Carol. Yeah, that's why we said she's literally on that yellow part of the pyramid, because that's what she's that's really where she's at right now. Whether she hits the green and the blue one, like in future episodes, maybe. And it seems like we talked about her psychological needs and the fact that barrels probably don't need food or sleep or water, because they're hollow inside. They can literally live very easily. But one thing barrels do have to worry about is the fact that their bodies are very vulnerable. They're made out of wood. Wood is made out of cardboard. Oliver's made out of ceramic. That makes them very, very, very vulnerable. So safety is definitely key for those contained characters. But like we've said, Carol's already sorted it. She's got the hero doing that job for her. The hero's her protector now. Even if the hero, well, he has to accept it. Black, how are you doing, Black Udon? Weren't you already following me? Was I dreaming? How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Okay, so Carol's fear. Okay, so before we fill in the fear, we're going to fill in the misbelief. Because the fear thing was something I only recently realised, to be honest. I wanted to flesh that out a bit more. So we said this is the lie she believes. So the misbelief has to turn the want and desire on its head. That's basically the rule. Should we make this text a little bit bigger so it stands out a bit more? Oh, it's a bit big now. We'll leave it like this for now. I'm not going to bother with formatting. So those two have to sort of be. They have to link basically. The misbelief has to sort of question their want and desire, because that's their character arc. That's what's gonna make. She's going to learn along the way. So what it comes down to is that she can only find, this is the lie she believes, that she can only find love, belonging, and this connects with the pyramid, by the way. So all those things that would go on that yellow part of the pyramid, she thinks she can only find that with her own kind. That's why she wants to find a family. So what else is there? Acceptance, connection, and trust. I think literally there might be more, but those are literally the things that she wants, that she believes she can only get it with these guys. She thinks only them. And, you know, that's an understandable thing to believe, because she's probably, as someone who's just recently come to life that shouldn't be alive, there's going to be a lot of skeptics. Like we said, if any human was to ever see her, they'd freak out and probably try to break her. So that's why she don't like humans. I'm actually very keen on having that as a backstory event for Carol. So I'm going to say here, we'll put this in italics actually, just padding your numbers in a lighter face. Thank you. Oh my gosh, how many alts do you have? So at some point, we should show the moment in her past when she first fell prey to this belief. Okay, so because you can't really have a misbelief if you haven't had an event in your past or events in your past that have like given you reason to feel that way. So you gotta really have one. Well, you don't have to have one, you know, so you don't even have to have any of these, but if you want to make a good believable character that people are connected to then and relate to, then it's the technique. It's the technique. Okay, so my idea was, and I'm intrigued if anybody else has any cool backstory ideas for Carol, because I'd love to hear them all, but mine is that maybe a human, I'm saying human and not any other race because she calls humans flesh bag. There's a bit of hatred there, and I want to give reason for that. I don't want her to just hate humans and call them names without having a real reason to actually dislike them. So maybe a human tried to break her into pieces. Don't cry. She's a barrel. Someone's going to try and do that. Some horrible person who thinks, why are you here? Why are you alive? Shouldn't be alive. Maybe a human tried to break her into pieces as someone without arms and legs, which Carol would never, she would never like make herself seem like a weak person or a victim for not, she is very, very confident in herself, and she's very proud of being a barrel. She won't let anyone tell her otherwise. It was I'm intrigued if there's any variations or thoughts on this idea. Challenge me, folks. Of how Carol would be, what she would have done, all those things. I think that's because the other barrels, or the other containers, are lovely people, aren't they? They're all lovely. Well, no. Elvira isn't. Meryl's a little bit questionable, but Elvira's still lovely. She just cares about her family. She's got those traditional values. She's typical boomer. Elvira is. She's proud of being a barrel. She is. That's very key, guys. Carol will not see herself as a victim or someone who isn't as able or as capable as any other person or human. She really is very ego. She has an ego, and if it ever gets pointed out to her that, you know, that she can't do something, or she would show that sass, and she would give it as good as she got. She would never admit, if this incident happened this incident I'm highlighting, if that is something that happened in the past, she would never like admit it, or it would take a great deal for her to admit it. It's very, very buried. But it's ultimately, she ultimately just does not feel like she'll ever find love, belonging, acceptance, connection, all of that stuff with anyone other than her barrel kin. It's interesting because Carol is a romanceable option in this game, which is very interesting if you decide you want to go that route, because you can't, that makes the arc complete if you succeed in romancing her. You've showed her that she can find love and all of that with a human, because the custom character hero is always a human character. So how beautiful, right? So that's the truth, guys. That's the truth and realization that she can find. I'm listing all of these because I think that all of these qualities are what she needs to really feel like she belongs. Not just love on its own. She needs to feel accepted and trusted too. She can find love with anyone, even those she felt were too different to her, or who she even disliked. Because yeah, at the start of the game, she gives the hero sass. She's a pain in the butt. She does not give the hero credit, and there's definitely no fondness there. That's for sure. And that relationship is going to develop into a more affectionate one over time, only if you do things a certain way though. There could also be a route in the story where Carol becomes someone who hates your guts even more, you know. So it depends how you approach situations and what you do. So nothing will stop her from barreling into a situation. Good pun. give us all those barrel puns. I want to hear them all. Because if we have a jokester character in our party or an NPC, you know, I'll put those puns in in the dialogue if it fits with a character to use them. Okay, so that's her truth and realization. That has to be, for any aspiring writers here, that has to be the opposite of the misbelief. Obviously, it's going to be the thing that makes them realize that was all a wrong belief and a lie, and it's usually what happens at the end of somebody's character arc. But throughout the character arc, they usually go on believing that throughout the majority of the story and their arc. So Carol throughout will be like only believing that she can find out with her own kind, but she'll be challenged with that lie, that it'll be challenged to her now and again. She'll sometimes be like, oh, what if not? What if that's wrong? But she'll automatically go back to believing it again because it's so ingrained in her that she's not going to feel otherwise. Okay, so the fear, we didn't fill that bit in, did we? So in regards to the fear, I sort of realised that the fear has to be something that would stop her pursuing her desire. That the fear has to be something that would stop her from doing that. It can't just be any random fear. So we're going to talk about that in a sec, because I had a couple of ideas that really were quite obvious to me. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. I appreciate that, N Squared. Using Prime Gaming to sub to Great Streams Free is as easy as shooting fish in a barrel. Yay! Thank you so much for the support. And I got an emote from that as well. Thank you very much. Did anyone else get an emote? Was it just me? Was I the only one? Let's have some hype in chat. Thanks for the love and support. Appreciate it. Thanks guys for being awesome. Always honoured to get a Twitch Prime sub because that can go to anybody. There's a bazillion streams on Twitch, after all. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Thanks for the hype, everyone. Mid-Saber and Van. Okay, so the fear can't just be any random fear. It has to link with the desire and sort of challenge that and kind of be something that holds them back from achieving that desire as fast as they want to achieve it. So this was what stuck to me for the fear. Because a fear before, the one on the Law Bible currently, is that she will never see her family again. That's a fear, but that's not a strong enough fear. It needs to be something that challenges that one and desire and affects it in a more significant way. So she fears dangerous people she might meet during her quest, and that having no skills in battle will hold her back. I don't know if skills in battle is the right term here. Maybe way to defend herself. I mean, that might not be true. There might be ways to defend herself. Let's open that topic of discussion. How would Carol the Barrel defend herself? Say if some horrible person saw her and was like, what the hell are you? Why are you alive? And just had an axe in his hand and was about to chop her into pieces. What would Carol do to save herself? That's what I'm curious at now. Like, I suppose she could just hop away or roll away in panic. But it's not like she has, she's not skilled. She can't fight. So all she can really do is run and dodge. It can be a bit of a drawback. So in that regard, that is why she wants the hero, because the hero cures her fear. Well, the hero is the solution to her fear. That's why she is so willing to be with them despite disliking humans so much, because the dislike is worth it if it means she doesn't have to worry about that, and that will go on to make her achieve her desire faster and more successfully if she has a group of strong fighters with her to help her find that family. And just so you know, there's a bit more layers to that quest of finding the family in this document here. It gives my idea for what I've written here gives the hero there's a sort of another reason. You know, the hero's got his own agenda. It isn't just about wanting to help a poor Barrel find her family. He actually has a reason for why he's pursuing that, which I think makes it a little bit better, in my honest opinion. We don't want no puppet. We want our hero to have a proper purpose. Okay, where are we? So that's really all I wanted to fill in. I just wanted to fill in those 4 things. And I think to some degree, every character should follow this same pattern. It doesn't have to be as developed or thorough, especially for the smaller NPCs, but I think to some degree we just have to at least consider it, so that they're not just some blank slate that we don't give a damn about. when I was writing out Carol's dialogue, because I've started thinking about the dialogue we'll be doing next week for Carol in that scene on the expansion, I started like I'm using this box, the information in this box, as a guide to keep on track with her dialogue and make sure every sentence she says matters and relates to this and doesn't go off track here. So it's a good like little character guide to follow as well. The goal is with that conversation that happens quite early on is to make it as intriguing and full of interesting little bits and bobs as possible, so that the player is intrigued enough to carry on playing beyond the first main quest. Because what Carol has to say and what this character is all about is far too interesting to not carry on at this point. That is kind of the goal of what I'm going to do. Gotta have that hook. But I'm very glad that you guys, chat, jumped on the fact that Carol is definitely the hook, and you've said that you felt it yourself that the idea of this barrel in the game is definitely the hook. It's a good thing, because there's nothing worse than thinking, well, there's nothing in the story that's a hook. And I feel like if you're ever in that situation where you're like, well, I don't have a hook, then try and think of one, or think of how to insert one in there, because it's so important. You don't want people turning it off, or putting the book down, or turning whatever you're doing off. Like, you gotta hook them. Gotta hook them. And thanks, Matt, for the hype as well. No problem, love watching Game Dev streams, and you've been very pleasant to have in the background while I work. Thank you. Yes, I am background noise for a lot of work lurkers, actually. This stream is, which is very, very awesome. I don't mind if I say so. But yes, Game Dev stream it is. Our stream, our game, our RPG is very, very story driven. So a lot of the streams are like story based and character discussions, that's for sure. And a big focus at the moment is really getting the episode 1 sort of framework and all those story parts really fleshed out, because I think if that's all there, it's even more exciting to do the development, because you get excited of all the plans and all the ideas for the story that you've got. If your mind is completely blank in regards to story while you're doing the development, it can kind of feel like there's no purpose and there's a blank on what you're actually doing. But some people actually prefer doing the gameplay and the mechanics first. It's all just what people like doing best, but I personally get excited of the idea of already having that story there to a degree. Not every little bit of information has to be perfect, because it could take forever to do, but getting that framework there. Okay, so where were we? Yes, we are going to go back to the story outline now. I've put in a bit of info there for Carol. What we've talked about Carol. She's the very first person we meet in the actual game. And there's more information to fill in now. Like we said, we're going to get this really filled in with stuff. I want to make this a bit more pretty with colours, I think, though. What colour should main quest 1 be? That's a bit dark. Make it a bit brighter. There we go. I think it'll break it down a bit if we've not just got one block of colour. Okay, so we meet Cal the Barrel, and that's scene 1. Now, the next part of the game, but we know so far, is that we look for Nigel's little sister called Fiona. That is officially the actual first main quest objective, to find Fiona. So that is actually given to us in the inn. We meet Nigel. I think we need to left align this because it's looking a bit messy when it's like that, but I'll send to that. Okay, so I'm thinking we need to like make it clear if we meet a new character in a scene, we're gonna make it clear that we meet a character. So what I'm gonna do is get their sprites and stick them in. So we got some images mixed in with this text. The goal with this outline is to not miss a single bit of information and to make sure it's all very clear. Okay, so this is why I regret hiding my image previews now. It's going to take a while to find the images, but we'll get there. Here he is. Yeah, we're going to need space between scenes because obviously if there's information to put, like different little choices that have happened that we need to note down, we're going to need the space. We should put Carol here as well. Actually, we should be a bit more specific. We actually don't unlock main quest 1 until we're in the inn, so I'm going to call this Act 1 actually instead of main quest 1, but see every act as a main quest. I'm going to get Fiona's out as well. It's his little sister Fiona. We're also getting Rose come as well, so we'll drag her sprite in as well. I think those are the only ones we need right now. So they're actually... Yes, Rose is scene 4, I think. So scene 3 is... Oh no, I am wrong. I am greatly mistaken. We don't meet Fiona until scene 4 and Rose is scene 5. Because scene 3 is more Carol the Barrel stuff. And that's going to be the dialogue conversation we're going to expand on next week and make it super good. So you meet a sentient barrel called Carol. You look for Nigel's little sister Fiona, and you find a vampire in a cage called Rose. Okay, so this is just the issue that we unfortunately have to face with the images, which Google Docs is better for because it all just goes down together. But because we're going to be having a lot of different boxes for things, we're going to have to, it's probably just going to be easier to use this. Right, so any other information to get in? Yes, so scene 4, I'm just going to, because I give each of the scenes a title just so as a way to remember where they take place. So scene 4 is by the lake and scene 5 is in the cabin. And this also is when Rose joins the party as an actual playable character. So I'll actually make that a bit more clear. I might put some of these things in boxes instead of text, just so it doesn't get a bit too text heavy. Because the organisation's probably not going to be perfect just yet. I'll get there. Yeah, I think it'll look tidier if I do it this way. So I'm just going to just copy this box here. I'm going to no, I don't want it to change the text, so and now we can delete from here. It looks a bit messy. And we can do the same for this one here. I'll probably give them better colours later, in like specific to what it's for. So make the main quest unlocked parts a certain colour or something. Okay, so it's one thing it's weird is that it does that. I'd rather it let me put the arrow anywhere if I'm honest. So hopefully, no, it doesn't if I do that. Oh, it does. Never tried it this way before. There we go. But I want it to go, I would love it to just go over there, to be honest, so that we know exactly what it's pointing to. Maybe there's a way to do that. I'm sure there is. I'm just a noob with this program sometimes. Hi, Tox, how you doing? You like my hair? I do too. And good morning to you. Hope you're having a good day so far. Hope it's treating you well. Yeah, I definitely want this to be closer. I'm not a fan of the arrow not touching what it's referring to. And I know there's going to be a way to do this because it'd be pretty silly if not. But for some reason, or maybe it's a setting, have we got the arrows going somewhere a certain way? Yeah, we'll turn those off and see if it makes it better. Got rid of the arrows altogether. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit, it didn't snap to a certain area, and I think that must be a setting, it has to be. Just let me put the arrows wherever I want. Simple. You can hold the Alt key to disable snapping of the arrows. Yes, it is draw IO, Mary. So, Alt. I'm doing that now and it's done this. It's gone all up there. I'd like it to just be a nice straight arrow. So, let's move it there. I'll get the gist of this in the end. Just because I've never tried. Oh, here we go. It was in a weird position, I blame. We did it. Thank you, Mary, for letting me know that, because I wouldn't have realised. I don't know why the arrow's gone all thick, but oh well. Oh well. It's like gone all thick there for some reason. There, that's a bit better. I don't care. As long as we get the gist of what we're trying to say. What we're trying to do. Wait the allotted 5 minutes for Rose to read the chat. Yeah. I'll never miss you, chat, but I always might just be a little bit late sometimes. You know how it goes. Well, sometimes I miss chat. I'm not perfect. I've looked back through VODs and thought, oh gosh, I missed that. Because I always tend to look through my VODs to make notes of what any cool things people mentioned. Okay, so. Yeah, so any like key information I'm going to put in boxes like this, but I'm probably going to make them a certain colour scheme so we know what's what. At some point we'll see how it goes. I'm actually going to make that text a bit better. Oh, that's a bit dark. I don't like the grey. There. Okay, so we need to get, because surprisingly there's a lot of stuff that happens in these quests, so it's my job to jog my memory and remind myself what's happened. So we've put all the scenes down, we've put Rose joins the party. Carol doesn't join the party as a playable character, just so you know, so that's why there's no box for her. You can't have Carol in battle, unfortunately. She's just your sidekick. Okay, so we've got main quest 2 to still fill in, by the way, because we've kind of nearly done that, but before we fill in that, I want to make sure that we've labelled the choices that happen in main quest 1. Okay, so I'm going to have to look through all the dialogue. So, story so far, episode 1, main quest 1. Here we go. So we got the dialogue trees here, everybody. And as we said, scene 3 is unfinished, so I've put to be continued there because it's nowhere near done. That's going to get very, very expanded next week. We're going to work on that together. I have a lot of links now that I'm putting them together, but I'll still take a while to organise them. Ooh, What link? I'm so curious now. I wonder what all these are. Okay, so get it done so I could buy it already, Kappa. Yeah, this is interesting now. Real talk. I will gladly take longer and extend development time of episode 1 if it meant we're going to have like an amazing game for it. Because you don't want to have regrets, do you? I feel like if you release something too early just because you're in a rush and you're desperate to just get it out and hurry up for whatever reason, you don't want to have regrets and feel like, oh, I could have made that better. Now, that game didn't do as well as it could have done. I could have done a better job and it was rushed. So I would gladly, if I had to, you know, if I felt like, oh, just a bit more time could be spent here, I would do that. Because if it's going to mean it's going to be a better game for it, then yeah, you what it needs in the end, yeah. For sure. And believe it or not, Tox, at one point I thought that episode 1 was going to be out in 2020, a very long time ago. That was the prediction. It isn't. And it's not like you have a publisher hounding you. Yes, exactly. It would be kind of stressful. You know, it's nice to have that creative freedom. I think this will be an amazing game once it's done, yeah. And it's such a weight off the shoulders that it's episodic, because thinking of it as a whole thing is huge. It really is an epic as a whole thing. But as episodes, it breaks it into parts and it's much more manageable and realistic to get something out in a reasonable timeline. And I'm kind of seeing each episode now as a game in itself. So it's a big saga with a series of games. Episode 1 in the early days, like in the first 6 months of development of this, was going to just be something super quick, like a couple of hours of play time. But back in the days when this project was just a bit of fun. But now it isn't. Episode 1 is going to be quite, fleshed out and have a lot of story elements going on, stuff happening. So it's kind of become a little mini RPG in itself, episode 1 has. So yeah, it's definitely not something that's going to be over and done with in terms of playtime. You won't finish it in one night unless you're a speedrunner, probably. Originally I would have thought, yes, people will complete episode 1 in a couple of hours. No, it's gonna be its own RPG in itself. Probably not as obviously as big as a full-length RPG episode 1, but worthy of being a game in itself. Okay, so I'm going to look at this dialogue, look back, see if there's any key things that need to be pointed out on here. Okay. Right, so nothing here yet. This is a very simple scene. I had an idea. Now this is just a thought, and if I was gonna do this, it would be in a later playable build. It wouldn't be in that first playable build demo. Of this scene having variation, having a bit of extra dialogue in it, but a slight variation depending on your custom hero. So say if you picked a warrior who wields an axe, Carol would say something like, "Ow, that axe sticking inside me, get out," or something like that. Like there'd be a slight variation. Or if you've got a beard as a hero, because you can actually have a beard in our game as a custom hero, she'd be like, that really itches, or something. Like just like some variation to like, so things don't get boring. Because like, I don't know about you guys, but when in games where there's multiple, when it's those games that you can play multiple times to see the other endings and that, and that you're going to see that opening scene 100 times, it gets a bit monotonous if it's always the same dialogue every time we play the game. Like, typical example is Skyrim, that opening scene when you're in that cart in Skyrim. You know, it's very boring, and that's why everybody's got mods, so they can have a different start to the scene. So just like a slight variation of the dialogue, just for entertainment value, to keep things interesting, so you can think, well, what's Carol going to say to me, this hero, you know. Makes it feel a bit more dynamic. So that's a possible little extra thing that can make this scene a little bit more different and cool. It wouldn't be too hard to sort of implement at all. You know, the variables are already done for the custom hero based on if the bearded or if they're otherwise. So it's literally just an if statement. If, you know, bearded variable, Carol will say this. So it's not too bad. Okay, so who knows, you're not done yet. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that if it gets done, it will be awesome. If it doesn't get done, then it won't. So it's pretty simple as that. But it will, because obviously I'm obsessed with this. So it's a matter of when, not if. That's basically a matter of when it gets done, not if it gets done. That's kind of how I see it, that's for sure. Okay, so choices. So we got some questions here, but none of those questions lead to different choices, so we're good at this point. We don't have any branches to consider. This information, these in the purple box, these questions are literally just little bits of information and knowledge that will help the hero, guide the hero on the quest. It especially helps when he updates the quest journal. If you've got mini maps disabled, if you prefer to not show them, then these are even more important, because you wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't have the quest markers to tell you where to go, because in our options menu you can either have quest markers and maps either enabled or disabled, depending on your preferences as a gamer, whether you like to have that or if you don't. So those are definitely more helpful for those of you that hide your maps and quest markers, because you'll kind of need to go by these to figure out, and it'll sort of be expanded on in the quest journal if you have answered those optional questions. Okay, so this scene is very, very bare at the moment, and I'm intending to really expand on it next week. And really hit on Carol's personality very early on. I think because she's the hook of the game, we need to we don't have to get super detailed about it this early on. Of course, we're not going to find out her life story just yet. That comes later, but we have to be intrigued enough about Carol to want to proceed and continue on this quest, because right now we don't know Carol. We're not getting to understand her enough. So I can see this little sequence here being expanded to the degree that perhaps, I'm trying to think of but it's going to be a bit longer. It's going to be 10 times longer than this, probably. We'll see, because there's a bit of chats and conversations to be had between Carol and the hero. Okay, so this is where we get the first choice, I think, actually seen for. Okay, it's this. This is our first choice. Now, it's our first choice right now, but it doesn't mean it will be when the game's out, because Lakefall itself is going to be populated with many NPCs. Not a ton. I mean, Lakefall isn't a hugely populated village, but it's a community. It's a settlement that has a community of people living there. So there's going to be, a decent number, at least a couple of a handful of 2 handfuls of NPCs, I guess, living there. And those NPCs, if you talk to them before you head into the forest, you might have the opportunity to have some choices like this too, where you affect your relationship with those NPCs. So there might be some more, that's for sure. So let's note that first choice down, and we'll put the choices on the left. I might actually switch that around and put notable things that happen on left, and choices on the right. I'm going to do it that way actually, and let's put this more in the middle. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I think that's grabbed everything now. Let's make sure it's a little bit more centered. There we go. I think that's a bit more centered. Yeah, I feel it just makes more sense to me to have things like information like that. Things that go in your sort of menus, your quest journals and your party pickers and that on the left, and the more behind the scenes stuff going on, choices that affect variables and that will get on the right. So, what were they? Pushing her in the lake and not pushing her in the lake, basically. I'm going to say choice. I might put emojis here to make these things stand out as well based on what it's for. Huge hammers, heavy armor and goth chicks. Yeah, who's the goth chick? Someone said Carol the Barrel was a goth chick actually. I suppose Rose is a goth chick. She's a vampire. How could she not be? But somebody, I do remember in chat, someone said that Carol, she is a goth chick as well. She does have that look, and she has the sass. Okay. I know you said play how I want. Yeah. Okay. Also, I'm gonna put the poll in chat again, folks, for the Discord. How is our polls getting on? Oh my goodness, how exciting to see that we're building up those votes. All right. I've got so many tabs up of all these different things. Right. So choice time. Bold. Actually, a choice is made. Is there a good emoji to match with the choice being made? Can't think of what would go with that. Because we're going to want these to stand out. We don't want to... The choices are going to be very important to keep up with. There we go. I don't know what emoji to add with it. Okay, a choice is made. 1. Push Fiona. Actually, don't push Fiona in the lake. We can organise this a bit better, I think. And the points you lose, it'll gain compassion. What's a good emoji for compassion? I think we should do that instead of heart for compassion. But what would be the opposite? No compassion. What's the asshole emoji? Is there a standard asshole emoji that exists? I'd say it would be this one, if you're going to ask me. The devil emoji. The devil emoji. Oh, angel and devil emoji, of course. That would be a good contrast for compassion. So instead of the heart, we'll have an angel. There we go. So devil for push Fiona in the lake. And angel. I won't write that in capitals. Thought it might work, but no. How I want to get rid of the how do we get rid of hyperlinks? Edit link, delete. That's annoying. That's strange. Edit link and it doesn't come up. Just want to get rid of that thing that's appearing, emojipedia.org, because it's silly. It's a silly billy. I want to get rid of that, that's for sure. Well, even when I deleted it, it's still there. Go away. Oh. You'd think it'd be simple, wouldn't you? You'd think something like this would be easy peasy to get rid of. It's probably just hiding away somewhere. A link, that's what it is. Because I'm not keeping that there. No way. It did get rid of some, but still don't want it there. Oh no, it's there again. I might have to figure that out off stream, because we'll never get anything done. We'll never get anything done. Right, so choices made. I'm going to put that there at the first, actually. So we have currently that it's +1 compassion or -5 is so I'm gonna just make a note of that. Oh no, you know what's happened? It's done a blooming hyperlink. Silly purple thing there. Because it's silly. Oh no. Just get rid. Be my friend. Be nice. Don't want a hyperlink. Hi Oracle, need to sleep, but I will leave a lurk. Thank you for the lurk, Oracle. I hope you have a good sleep. And I hope I find out how to get rid of hyperlinks. I never thought something so easy could be so impossible. Edit tooltip. No, I've checked every single thing, I feel. If I empty the box, if I just copy and paste and delete, it still doesn't get rid of it. Oh no, it has. Did get rid of it. I think we sorted everybody. Come back now, isn't it? It has, it's come back. I'm going to copy and paste it in Notepad and then put it back in. But it'll ruin the text formatting, I bet. Oh no, it's fine. We've fixed it. Huzzah. So +1, -5. Just as a note on what you lose and what you gain. I think that's probably the most simple way, effective way of doing this on the outline. Oh. There. Went to a bit far to the left there. Alright. Hey, this is really fun, I think. I'm just a nerd though, that's why I find it fun. But it's fun to like get everything on one big sheet. Just so you can see it all as a whole. So yeah, okay. We've only just started. This is nothing compared to what it's going to end up with. I'm actually gonna make this text a bit bigger. Make certain text bigger in certain parts. Oh no. See, that's the only issue with making the text bigger. I'd move everything down. I can't be lazy. I'll just manage. Who cares? Okay, that's it. Now, are there any more choices? Oh, there's another. But that's it. That's the last one. So, the other choice is you get to rub it in the face a little bit more and make her hate you a little bit more. But you only get that. You only get this choice if you picked the first one, the nicer route. So I'm going to have to label this very, very carefully. So what I'm going to do, that way we know that it's only if you picked the good option. Well, the angelic option, the compassion option. Basically. And we've got other morals. We've got bravery, wisdom. What's the other one? Bravery, wisdom. Yeah, being brave or a coward, or being wise and foolish. Those are the other things on the morality scale. But this particular seed is very compassion focused. In fact, episode 1 so far as a whole has been very compassion focused. So what were they? How can we sum that up? Compliment Fiona. and insult Fiona. That's what we'll call it. So it's only -2 this time, and +1. Okay, so the reason why you lose more compassion if you're pushing the lake is because it's an action. Anything that's an actual action will obviously do more damage than words. Pushing someone physically is more harmful than just sort of being a tiny bit mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still harmful. Words, no excuse, never. Don't tolerate it one bit, but it's going to be a bit more severe if it's an action. So, for example, if later on there's a story where the hero burns a city down, that is going to be like -50 or something. Maybe not that much, but you know, basically that's what I'm trying to get at here. That if the more severe it is, the more life-changing it is, the more severe. So this only affects one person. That's why it's only -5, that action, because it just affected one individual. But obviously if it affected a group of people or a city of people or a world of people, you're going to probably get more minus or plus points depending on if it's a positive or negative action. Just make that a little bit closer. In fact, I might do this horizontally instead. I don't know, actually. To make better use of space. There we go. Maybe it stands out. Maybe we don't need the exclamation mark now. It's getting a bit... I feel like actually bolding the what it is might be better than bolding the Hi Rose, hi Clem, how you doing? It's good to see you, having a good Wednesday. Hope your week's going nicely. But as you can see, folks, if you're watching, this is kind of what I'm getting at here in terms of the outline. Obviously, this is very, very basic right now, and we've not got much filled in because we've only just started. But eventually, we're going to have a massive sheet of loads of boxes like this to show when what all the choices are all on one page in the entire game, or the entire episode. And that way we can easily review everything. We don't forget things. Because if we don't do something like this, it's so easy to forget something that actually did happen, that is actually could be quite significant in changing the course of the plot. So this is just the first, the Fiona one. We got more, so we're going to get the rest down. And Fiona's the first NPC we've designed and given dialogue to in the game. There's going to be more. We're going to have more NPCs. Fiona and her brother are obviously not the only ones living in Lakefall. So you can trust me that we're going to do more stuff like this with the others. Maybe not as severe. Maybe some of the little choices and actions and things you can say to people might not be as big a deal as pushing someone in an actual lake, but it all depends on the place they're at, what the person's like. Opportunity just worked for that with Fiona because she was by a lake and she said that she loves watching fish swim and would you like to join them. Just felt like such a good asshole sort of action at that point. So it all depends on, you know, what the NPC is doing and if it makes sense to do something and behave a certain way. I'm not going to just throw something for the sake of it. It has to have some relevance. And doing well, how are you? How's the development going? Not bad, Clem. We're just continuing on with further developing the concepts, fleshing out the writing, making it as good as possible so that we've got an amazing outline before we jump back into the scene work and all the development side of things. So right now I'm working on a sheet where I'm fleshing out everything that we've done so far, and then we're going to look at some of the other main quests and just make some rough outlines of them as well. So what you see here is just the start of something that's going to be like, whoa, in weeks to come. Hi Trias, summons Chibi Daniel to the bottom of the screen. He's here. He's here. Look at him. How are you doing, Tri? I hope you're having a good week. And again, because we've had some folks pop in the stream, I'm going to remind you, we have a poll. It's a very exciting one. Got quite a bit of votes, but we want even more. It's very exciting because this will be the poll that gives us our title of episode 1. And every other episode that's released in the future will follow the same format of the title. So whatever style, whether we go for a short one, whether we go for a long poetic one, we'll continue on with that format throughout the episodes. And I'm looking forward to doing the logo and revealing it on stream 200. I was super productive earlier this week, which let me chill out a little more today. Oh, that's nice. Good for you for being productive. Good for you. Okay, I'm thinking I need another gap, and I know I'm gonna have to move everything down again, but I feel like they're a little bit squished together, so I'm just moving everybody down just a touch. Maybe I need to note that these are the NPCs we meet in the scenes, just for clarity. I don't know how to do that without it being too messy in regards to text. I think we're all right for now to just leave it as that. Oh no, I did it wrong. Rose is there in the cabin. It's Fiona who's by the lake. I'll bold that. Dropped a quick vote in. Yay, thanks for the vote, Clem. The more the better. The more the better, that's for sure. And then we'll get the true reflection of what the best title is, the more votes we have. That's how I feel. Perks of having a good manager is happy letting you control your own work schedule. That's awesome. I'm glad you've got a nice manager. You're very lucky, because there's a lot of people out there that certainly don't. So this is Act 1, the hook, by the way, everybody, in case you're just stopping. It's the hook. Act 1 is basically main quest 1. Act 2 will be main quest 2. The quests are pretty chunky in our game, and we're planning to have about 5 of them. Five main quests per episode is pretty is a good amount, I'd say, considering they're pretty chunky quests. With like 5 scenes each in them at the moment, and obviously this is just the main quest. We can have side quests too, and I'm a big fan of very meaningful and memorable side quests. We'll probably have half a dozen, or maybe it's also in main quest 1. We're not going to overdo it. We're not going to have like about 20 side quests, because I put quality over quantity. I'd rather have 5 or 6 really memorable side quests over 20 really boring, dull, uninspiring quests. And there'll probably be other like little questy element things like hunts and collectibles and things like that. But I see those as side optional things, not as things you have to do in the game. I think that's how it should be. Anything filler and extra should be optional extra things the player can do, if that is what they love in gaming. If they like collecting, if they like hunting. Like if they having a side quest that is kill 5 rats should be a hunt, not a side quest. You know, have side quests be as meaningful as the main story quest, but ones that don't relate to the actual main arc. Use them as a chance to do more world building and develop your NPCs a bit more and make that world feel more alive and interesting. That use side quests for that, not for meaningless kill 5 rats quests. They can be hunts if you want to have those quests. Don't put them as the actual quests. That's my approach to quest design anyway. I'm very inspired by certain RPGs that I adore that kind of went a similar way. Okay, so where's the next bit? Where are we? So we've filled, there's no other choices other than those 2, so that's nice to know that we've got all Fiona's choices down, because otherwise I would have been scratching my head thinking, were there any more choices? Because I actually forgot there was a second choice where you actually either compliment or insult. I only ever remember the push in the lake choice because it's the memorable bit, and I forgot about that one. So even me, I forget. So, this is very necessary, so we keep track. Instrument, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you with us. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Okay, so now we're on to the final. Okay, now we need a bit more room because we don't have any room. We're on scene 5 now in the cabin, and I know we got choices here and we've got no room. So we're going to have to definitely make more space between these. And scene 3 hasn't got any choices, or scene 1 and 2, but scene 3 probably will by next week, because we are going to expand scene 3. But I personally felt, and I think some of chat felt as well, that scene 3 had room for really developing Carol a little bit more, a little bit earlier on in the story. I think there's an opportunity for more hero and Carol interaction, because Carol is who our hook is. Just so you know, we got Act 1 the hook here, in case you're wondering what the hook is. The hook is Carol the Barrel, because I've been watching a lot of videos about the hook and how to approach it in a story. There's a list of different techniques you can do for the hook, and one of them is introduce an intriguing character. What a coincidence. Introduce an intriguing lead character. Make people care about them and want to know what's going to happen to them. So that's what we're going to do. That's what The first part of the story is going to be about to make Carol super intriguing and irresistible, that we cannot turn this game off because Carol's too interesting. And if she's not interesting enough, if we haven't succeeded in making her interesting enough, then we've got to try harder. We've got to rewrite. Roots and Brewers is such a great title. You like that one? Try a kiss. Let's review the poll. Thanks for the votes, everyone. I'm glad that you guys were drawn to Roots and Rumours. I personally love all of these titles. That's why I approved them in the shortlisting, because I feel like they've all got potential in their own way. They all fit with the setting and the theme of episode 1. It's all just subjective and personal opinion of what style of title you like the most. None of them are wrong or bad. It just like is personal taste at this point, whether people prefer the more catchy short titles or the longer, more resonating, intriguing titles. Hi Sangi, how you doing? Welcome. I like a few, but it's definitely the front runner. Yeah, well, it's definitely winning at the moment. Poll's not closing till Monday though, so there's definitely still time for folks to vote and for another one to catch up. But at the moment, it's definitely looking that way. And so expect what you see on this website here, and what you see on our Lore Bible, this logo that's basically everywhere. What I'm planning to do is this Twitcher community made RPG business we've got going here is going to be replaced with whatever wins the poll. We're going to make it a little bit more visually, aesthetically looking like the setting of episode 1. So I'm going to still, obviously it's all going to stay the same. I love how this is, but it might bring in a few little pixel art details that fit the aesthetic a bit more. And obviously, yeah, it's still a Twitch community made RPG. That whole thing we've got going now with the project is obviously not going away, but it's just about putting more focus on the game itself rather than Twitch as a company, because our game is so much more than Amazon. You know, we're not sponsored by Amazon. We're not. We got our own title. Like Roots and Rumours would make a decent band name too. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Actually, now you say that. Roots and Rumours. What genre of music would that band do? Rock? I'd say. But I agree. I think those titles that have two words with and in the middle, like two separate things that have and in the middle, can be very catchy. Like, I love the title Blood and Wine for the Witcher expansion. That was a really cool title too. And Roots and Rumours is even better because there's something very catchy. They both begin with R, and it flows nicely. You know what else is interesting about Roots and Rumours? Ra. That's what it is, shortened, right? And isn't Ra what a reptile would do? Well, no, the Ra a bit, I suppose, if they're mad. So if we were, that's true as well. I think that flows nicely and is quite a funny way of shortening it. Somehow you mentioning pixel art gave me flashbacks like 12 years ago when I was making Pokemon sprite edits. Oh really? 12 years ago? Have you ever looked at them again? Because 12 years is a long time. I want to see now. I want to see these pixel edits. Roots and Rooms would like Imagine Dragons type stuff, I think. Yeah, so basically pop rock then, or mainstream rock, if that's the case. Ra. I'm going to say Ra forever now. Yeah, thank you for filling in the introduce yourself. Yeah, folks, if you're not filled in introduce yourself in the Discord already, make sure you do, because it's always intriguing to read more about you all. Okay, so also, I don't know if you're still here, Trya, but have you ever seen this before? Because I'm absolutely fascinated by it. It's my new favourite thing. I've become a nerd for it, and all the characters are gonna be like inspired by this. It's gonna be a tool I use from now on. And I thought you might have seen it before just because you're a writer, so maybe you have. And I think it's super cool. It's a good way to shape the character's desires. Like, they always start at the bottom. You know, survival is at the bottom, and like, you know, the more epic things and like come higher up once you've like achieved all the lower things in the pyramid. There's a total theory, but it's not a bad place to start. Oh, it's been discredited. Why? Is there a reason for that? I'm curious now. 12, 13, something like that. I might have them on my old laptop, but I haven't booted it up in about a decade. That's the same as my MacBook, actually. It's been ages since I booted that up. Okay, so where were we? Right, let's just review scene 5 and see if we need to move these down lower so we've got more room. Okay, so Fiona's dialogue to you differs based on the choice you made in this scene. Alright. And there's this. And this isn't game changing, this particular choice here. It's just something that's going to either give you a point in one of the moral scales over the others based on which one you pick, but it leads to the same thing. So I don't know whether this is significant to note on the outline at this point. I'm going to just note major significant choices for now that would affect like things, what happen in the game and how scenes unfold and how the dialogue unfolds. But I might add it on here at a later point if I feel like, yeah, it needs adding. Well, now the general view is that the upper levels might not need to be their own needs, so to speak, but rather ways of satisfying the lower levels. Simply put, status, creativity, spontaneity, seen by Marlowe as superior needs, are ways of creating effective social networks that will support an individual to accomplish her basic needs. Interesting. Yeah. So what struck me when I saw this for the first time was that Carol the Barrel is on the love and belonging section because her goal is to find a family. That's who she feels she needs to be around because they accept her, and that I kind of like filled in her fears and misbeliefs and all that. And I sort of realised that what about all these for Carol? The very basic needs and safety, and we sort of had a discussion and we said, well, Carol, she is hollow inside, she's got no organs or all these systems like us humans have, so food, water and all those kind of things and breathing, it might not even be a thing for barrels. They don't have to even think about that or even care about it because they're just hollow inside, aren't they? They don't have all these complexities that we have in our bodies that we have to really care about. But one thing's for sure, which is more the orange one of safety, is that they'd be very vulnerable because they're only made out of wood or cardboard if you're Woody, or ceramic if you're Oliver. You're very vulnerable because of what you're made out of, and someone could easily crush you or smash you into pieces if you're a container. So they'd very much, you know, be very concerned about being safe. And that made me realise, oh, that's the perfect reason why Carol's with the hero, because she's using the hero. So he can be her bodyguard to protect her from all the horrible humans that might want to kill her. Or any paranoid Everbloom Forest people who think, why are you here? You're not meant to be alive, you weird barrel. And try and kill her. She's got a bodyguard then to make sure she's safe. And that actually didn't even register in my mind until I saw this. So I think in regards to that, it can be something that makes you sort of realise things about characters that you didn't consider before. Like, it makes you consider all their needs that you might have looked over. Because, you know, these barrels, there's so much to them. Their way of life, their survival, and all these things. Let's catch up with chat. And hi, Sayadis, the instrument. How you doing? I'll catch up with what you said in a sec. Try. Is there any particular regions and or time periods that inspire character design in a fashion sense? Oh, interesting. I mean, this is a very boring answer, but I appreciate all settings and time periods. I think that's one reason why Raindrop Chronicles, I'm very keen on us having lots of different sort of zones in our game, because at the moment it's just a forest setting, so I guess you could say the aesthetic is forest and at the moment, but I wouldn't want the whole game to be that. I want us to go in completely other sort of settings. I can't think of any other words right now, but you get what I mean, because I like variety, and I'm of the opinion that no matter the genre, no matter the setting, no matter the aesthetics and all of that awesome stuff, as long as it's written well, as long as it's compelling, I'm sold. It doesn't matter what the genre or the setting is. I love fantasy, I love cyberpunk, I love sci-fi, I love anything, as long as it's gonna compel me to some degree. So that's my answer. Hi Johnny, how you doing? Yeah, we got a similar colouring, that's why. She got dark hair and pale skin like me. That's for sure. And it's because doesn't she have similar glasses to me as well? Because if I took these off, I look completely nothing like her. But it might be, I don't know. I remember seeing a picture of her with these sort of black frames. So she has bangs as well, doesn't she? It's surprising what hair colour and hairstyle and all that kind of thing, it can completely change your look. Because when I was younger, when I was a teenager, it was somebody. I'm not even going to say who it is because I look nothing like this celebrity now. But it was another celebrity that people said I look like when I was a teenager, and I look nothing like them anymore. But it's just funny how you can change. It's funny how it changes. Okay, and I get that completely, and feel free to call me Sayo, like Mayo. Okay, that's awesome. Nice and short to remember. I was like, yeah, how do I pronounce your name? And I figured it's mayonnaise. So I was like, Sayonnaise. It's a good name actually. Sayonnaise. But I'll call you Sayo or I called you Instrument before, didn't I? Instrument. But welcome to the stream, Sayo. It's good to have you here. And I don't like mayo. I used to not either ate it, but then I had it lemon flavoured on a chicken sandwich or something, I think, or a chicken panini, and I thought it was absolutely delicious. So yeah, I think it's because it had the lemon with it, so it just added more. Well, now you have me curious as to who. You'd probably just laugh if I told you, because I don't look anything like her. But it's also because she was a very popular celebrity at the time and in your face a lot at that point in time. That might have been why people said it. Let me laugh at Kirsten Blooming Stewart from Twilight. Like, I don't look anything like her, but I did when I was a teen. When Twilight was out in 2008, was it? Which was how long ago? Exactly. How long ago? Yeah, 12 years ago that film came out, wasn't it? Something like that. Didn't even like that movie. It was terrible. I was a lot younger back then, so maybe some features might have looked a bit like then. I didn't have bangs back then, and I looked a bit younger in the face, so maybe there was something there back then. But I'm telling you, everybody said it. Like, I'd walk in the street and people would be, you're her, you know. And I didn't get it myself. I didn't get it. But I just, same theory back then as now. I thought people just say whatever your hair's like, your hairstyle. Like, I had the exact same hairstyle as Kirsten Stewart. I think that's why. Like, the typical, like, one length, long, no bangs, dark, brownish hair. So that's probably why. I'd never wore glasses back then either. I wore my contact lenses all the time. So yeah. And what are you working on? Oh, we are working on an RPG in this stream. If anyone here for the first time wants to have a look at our website, feel free to. There's an FAQ page on there. And we today, well, for a while, we've been really just fleshing out the story outline and making sure it's frigging awesome and as good as possible. And I'm just doing an outline plan at the moment so I can keep track of all the key things in the game, particularly the choices that are made. And we're doing it quest by quest. And I've also got a sheet here for characters, episode 1 characters. So eventually we're going to have a massive sheet of all the NPCs that we meet in this game. Eventually. There's a lot of NPCs we haven't even made yet. So we'll get to write them together when the time comes. So if you like RPGs, if you are a big fan of writing and stories and characters and all that kind of fun stuff, then you'll probably like it here. I'd say so. I would, because I think this stream's pretty awesome. Okay, so yeah, I think actually that there's nothing really key I need to note about that quest other than Rose, the fact that Rose does join the party. So we're moving on to main quest 2 now then, because I think, although we, like I said earlier in the stream, we're going to really flesh out scene 3 next week. Expect to see a lot more for this part from next week onwards. It's pretty basic as it is right now. Okay, so now it's filling in main quest 2, which we're gonna rename as Act 2. And what size text is that? 36. And get loads of press enter loads of times. I don't like that when the text changes. Copy and paste this now. What colour should we have as Act 2? Well, we meet the fruits, so The fruits are all sorts of different colours, but we will have yellow. The website looks interesting. What was it made in? Oh, it's a WordPress website. It's only got massive delay. Oh no, I hope it gets fixed. But yeah, with regards to Maslow, if you look at a lot of the things in the self-actualization category there, really ways of satisfying the other needs successfully. Yeah. That's true. I kind of agree to an extent, though, that you sort of can't do the higher up ones like esteem until you've got the lower ones. So to a degree, yeah, I think it's a good starting point. It's definitely helped me realise things about Carol that I didn't realise before. Okay, so the summary of the next part. And there's 5 scenes in this as well, so we'll get those in. Oh no. There we go, they're back. Okay, let's fill it all in. The rest of the model still holds strong now, in my opinion. Yeah. For sure. It's a good way to, like, inspire some character desires, you know, if you've got a bit of a mind blank. The writing you've done in your games, it all rhymes, even your trailers. Oh, really? That must be difficult. I'm not very good at rhyming. Definitely a challenge. Takes a skill. This is my skill. That. You spelt it just right, Trier. No, letter for letter. I'm proud. Okay, so I'm going to get in the scenes first before we write the summary. So, Carol and Rose Part 1. Carol's flashback. Carol and Rose 2. Meeting the fruits and Rose's painting. I think those are good titles for them. And that's the furthest we've got so far, guys. Rose's painting is the scene we currently have to, like, flesh out next. And we'll be going back to that next week as well. We'll be working on mainly scene 3. Carol joins the hero, and working on the expansion of that because it's, at the moment, we've got to be continued on there because it's unfinished. So we'll be working on that. The other 4 scenes are fine. And we'll be working on scene 5. So, and then I'll be able to do those scenes properly. For example, the dialogue option where you ask our owl character for their name. I have many names from which to choose. Owl might be the best to use. Oh, really? You've got an owl character though? That's awesome. Owls are beautiful animals, and I think they're quite underrated, if I may say so. Okay, so the summary is you find out Carol's family. Is it an RPG that you're doing, Johnny? Is that what sort of game it is? We have a creative work channel in our Discord, by the way, just so you know. I like peeps to be aware because if you are a creative or game dev or any kind of creative at all, it's always cool to to see what others are up to. Oh, where's our poll? It's not an RPG. Oh, what is it then? What genre? You find out Carol's family are missing and Rose saw who took them. Rose paints a picture of who took them. That's basically it. So the first part is that about Carol's family and finding out that they're missing, and the second part is Rose being able to have access to paints and easel to be able to communicate with who took them, considering she's a mute. And she does a painting of who it is, and it's a reptile, and it's going to lead to the whole reptile saga. And that's what the next part is all going to be. So, right, next job. Let's separate these. It's going to be super long, this is, that's for sure. So when does main quest 2 unlock? Let's copy this so that we can it actually unlocks in the cabin. When Rose joins the party at the same time. So what I'm going to do is just stick that above it and not have an arrow there. So, main quest 2 unlocked. That didn't even show up. Oh well, I'll figure out the colour schemes after. So the summary was not truly yuga, but in fact yuffle personal. That's it, that's what it says. So you've got a bunch of creatures set up in a ring. You can turn the ring by sneaking, or you can attack and get rid of the creatures. Oh right, so it's it does have like fighting game mechanics then by the sounds of it. You're a partner with our publisher too. Humble bundle. Yeah, right. I have a humble link. It means that people can use my link and help out. Give some of the monies to me to help the development if they find a bundle they like. Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, Humble Bundle are a really good one. I like them a lot. Some super good bundles there with them. Okay, is there anything else to know? Nobody joins the party in this part, in this section of the game. So we don't need that one, but we're gonna have a ton of choices, I'll tell you that. There'll be a lot, so we'll have to work in getting them in. And yeah, we've got main quest 3 and 4 and 5 to do. So what I'm gonna do, because we don't have the scenes or any clue of what's going to happen really in those last 3 quests quite yet, but I have a basic summary. I don't know scene by scene what it's going to be, but I have a summary, so we can get the summaries in. And now I'm going to just keep all that text as blue, though, I think. Why is it more spacey? That's weird. Draw.io can be a strange one sometimes. How it decides that you're going to change the text completely sometimes. We'll fill those in next time, I think, because I'd rather get the Act 2, Main Quest 2 part done, in all honesty, before we start thinking about the later quests as well. Heard good things. A friend of mine works with Devolver and says they're always been treated wonderfully, and there's some good publishers out there that know leave. Oh yeah, there totally is. It's about finding the right one. I feel like an aloof jerk character would casually threaten to turn a barrel into firewood after they've built up enough of a rampart, but that might be cliche. Aloof jerk character, and yeah, you can definitely be that jerk character in Raindrop Chronicles as the hero if you pick all the horrible things, that's for sure, or do all the questionable things in the game. That, you know, I think I remember someone saying a similar thing, when we was making notes on what the hero could say to Carol, even as a just playful threat, even if it's not going to be a literal thing. I think I remember a similar thing being mentioned. So, who knows? Carol herself can't be killed off. We can't ever die in the game, at least not this early on. Whether she perishes later on in the game towards end game in one of the endings, we know, maybe, because there are going to be multiple endings in this game, so one of the endings could be that, but her arc is very key to the story. So but yeah, feel free to share all your thoughts about barrels, and if you as a person in real life, even if it's easier to answer, met this barrel. If you woke up and saw this barrel in front of you, well, maybe not woke up, but if you walked into a forest and saw this barrel in front of you, what would you think? Would you be curious? Would you want to be friends? Would you get all cheeky with them? Give them a bit of sass? Would you sort of threaten them? Would you be intrigued, basically, or would you be scared? All these thoughts. We actually did a big brain marketing thing. We made a dog in our game pettable on Get On Can You Pet the Dog, and it worked. Yeah, I love how that's become a massive meme now. If you've got cute animals in your game, you've got to be able to give them some love, for sure. We're kind of doing a similar thing with one of our characters, Stumpy. Stumpy is a tree stump, or a tree log even, with a face. He's a living tree stump. And if you do a branch a certain way, if you go a certain way in the side quest, you'll be able to pet him. You gotta have that. Switch port with Donkey Kong crossover when? Stumpy might not be a doggo, but he might as well be a doggo. It's the doggo of the Raindrop Chronicles world. And it seems like a fairly Sundayer line. Oh yeah, Carol the Barrel's a Sundayer. She's a Sundayer, that's for sure. Even an evil character wants to keep his inventory, yeah. Because she could easily, she'd be like, you hurt me, and all your precious items are gone. You know, like she has some power there. She was clever by saying, I'll be your inventory, because she's instantly realised that the hero only has tiny little pockets and nowhere to store his items. So she instantly realised that she's a very roomy barrel, very spacious, she's got plenty of room, and she's getting what she wants as well out the hero, because she's got a bodyguard now, someone who's a good fighter, good with an axe, or good with a bow if you pick hunter instead. So she feels like her fears have been sorted out, basically. She's fixed that problem. This bit here, Carol's fear is solved by having the hero at her side, and it's worth it. She might not like humans very much, but if it means she can not feel this worry, then that's fine. And it'll make her find her family faster, she feels, as well, by having a good fighter with her. We really fleshed Carol out in this box. She's fleshed out now. She's a fully fleshed out being. Okay, but yeah, it's definitely continue to give insight on Carol, chat, because I want to have things to mull over and think about in regards to Carol, because when players play our game and start the game up and see Carol, she's the first character we're introduced to. Carol's the first character we really get to have a proper conversation with, and we're going to really make sure we expand on that there. So anything that comes to mind, feel free to bring it up, and it might even be made as a thing in this scene if it's significant enough. Waking up next to a sapient barrel, a new low even for me. I'm considering making a Minecraft skin based off Daniel Raven. A few friends of mine are talking about setting up a survival server. Really? Well, if you do it, feel free to send over a picture. That'd be awesome. Looking at him wondering just gave me the thought. Yeah, he's got a great aesthetic. I think he's a really good character. What would it feel like to be filled as a sentient barrel? Would she complain if filled with many sharp objects like spare weapons? Ooh, I love it. See, I was thinking a similar thing. Good thinking, because we got a dialogue line here right at the beginning when the hero himself is actually inside her, poking his head out, or her head out, or their head out, depending on your identity. I thought about potentially adding some variations to this dialogue based on what weapon you've got on you, or what your hero looks like. So if you've got an axe, she'd moan about the axe sticking into her or something. If you've got a beard, she'd say, hey, that tickles, or something like that, or like something to refer to the appearance, just to give some variation to this opening scene, because this game is a game that people will play again multiple times, because there's branches and multiple endings, multiple romance options. There will be anyway, and so many variations to how a playthrough can go that you'll probably see this scene a lot if you're doing lots of different playthroughs. So I want to make it a bit more fun and a bit more varied, a bit more dynamic. Have her say something different based on what your custom hero is. So that's something to consider for sure. Like, and the whole thought that came to my mind is an axe sticking in. I would be pretty uncomfortable. And I guess it depends on the play. If it's carefully placed there, she might feel okay about it. But it's a thing to think about, because she's made out of wood, and that does make her pretty vulnerable. She might not need to eat, and she might not need to drink water and have all those nutrients and essentials that people like us do, but her body is definitely a bit of a weakness to her in other ways. So it's good to think about that and how it could potentially affect her journey and things that happen. And a karaoke scene where she's used to store ale or wine or something might be funny in a tavern scene. Yeah, it's awesome. I love all the ideas, guys, so feel free to keep them coming. And I always make notes. I always look through the VODs, keep record, because even if it's not relevant at this point in time, or there's not a place for it now, doesn't mean there won't be in the future. I'm scared for the potential fan art on the way of Carol. Or Carol fan art is something I want to see so bad, I have to say. Why would you be scared? I'm curious. What would be some shocking fan art of Carol? I feel like she could become a meme. We already had a meme of Carol put in our Discord today. The hook was the barrel, always was. And that the context of that the context of that is because we were talking about the opening of the story, Act 1, being now also known as the hook. You got to get people interested enough to continue and not get bored. And we said the hook is Carol, obviously. What else is the hook in this game? She's the first thing we see. She's got to be the hook. Because you know the internet, no characters there, especially not Carol. She's so wacky and unusual that she's going to just... As long as people treat it with respect, you know, treat our game with respect, that's all I care about. I don't want any horrible memes. I mean, I can't control other people. At the end of the day, if someone does a meme that I don't like, there's nothing I can do about it. But, you know, that's the thing when you make a game. There's always a chance. Well, any form of media. It would be funny if filled with herbs that made her act a bit high and mellow. That's very awesome, actually. I like that idea. There's something very charming about that and quite amusing. I think that's something to consider, especially because we said that Carol doesn't need to eat or drink or breathe or probably even sleep or anything to that degree, because she doesn't have the organs that we do. So she doesn't even need to poop really either. So because she doesn't need that, I think it'd be cool to think of it from that perspective. But how is she affected by the objects that do get put inside her? What would that do to her? Even if we just have it as something that happens in the narrative, as something just to develop and flesh out the character, be pretty interesting. Something to consider, that's for sure. Thanks for all the thoughts, guys. I've enjoyed having lots of Carol chats today. Did I miss something go on the screen? Blame Twitch, because they don't show off our alerts anymore, and hosts and raids and things like that don't get shown anymore. If it's, you know, it's weird. I hope they change it. Apparently it's to prevent bot attacks, or I mean something to that degree, to stop bot attacks and raids coming through. That was their reason. But if anyone hosted me, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh my god, look at the time. Oh no. Guys, I might have to go straight off today because I've just realised it's 6:20 and my dinner's basically ready any second. So I'm not going to do a raid today. I like to always try and do one if I can, if I get time. But thanks for hanging out. I've liked the chats. We're in the middle of doing this outline at the moment, and there's a lot to do. There's an awful lot to do. Expect this to be like, whoa, packed with stuff eventually. And I'll be back on Friday. I'm back next on Friday. I'm going to just remind you again about the poll, folks, before we head off. I'm in a rush today, so no trivia or anything to finish off with today. I'll be back on Friday. And that's it. We'll carry on with this on Friday. But next week we'll be doing some dialogue stuff. Starting off with Carol and that scene, special scene 3. So I'm excited. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and I'll see you on Friday. Thanks for hanging out, Sayo, Try, and Van, and anybody else, Johnny. Thanks for hanging out and being part of the stream. Bye, everyone.